Up, everybody? Happy Sunday. I'm here to give you guys a book review in regards to one of my favorite books that I've ever picked up. It's called The F.B.I. War on Tupac, Shakur, and Black Leaders. This is a very eye-opening book. Definitely if you're somebody of color like myself, this speaks to the struggle that we've had ever since we've been here, or ever since we've been conquered, right? The FBI, ever since its antithesis, ever since it's begun, headed by J. Edgar Hoover, has always been on the lookout to destroy the idea of a black man rising up, being a leader to black people, and showing them that, you basically have no one to adhere to. You can struggle forward, and you can free yourself from the bonds of the system, right? The oppressive system, right? So they've always been on the lookout for the Black Messiah type. They've had this program called the Counterintelligence Program, in which they will find a group of, for example, they'll find a group of black people such as the Black Panther Party, and they would send people like informants into those groups to set people up for murder and to set people up for going to prison. And they would put agents inside these groups to cause all type of chaos and confusion. And the thing about it is, those type of things still go on today. They just have different names, and then they're more covert. But this book here is primarily focused on Tupac Shakur, but also has a lot of other characters in this book as well that have also tried to rally black people, but be an example of change for black people, but true change. Not willing to compromise, not willing to let's make a deal, not willing to kneel, not willing to bend, but just standing tall and not taking anything other than the freedom and the rights, and basically the same opportunities and a level playing field for all black people, right? Just the same things that every other race and ethnicity has gotten in this country, except for the people who were here first. And I know a lot of people want to argue that, but there's a lot of information out that says that, well, black people were here first. And I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. I'm just saying that in a truthful way, because history has been twisted and turned into something that has benefited the people that have conquered, right? It benefits and it suits a certain people. So, and I don't hate those people. I'm a child of God first. But one thing I do believe in is being under God in truth, right? We're all one in Christ when we get to heaven, but here on earth we all have differences, but we all must be under Christ in truth. I feel like everybody deserves to know who they are, and not under a lie, right? Not predicated on a huge amount of lies. But not to get off topic here too much, this book is called The F.B.I. War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders. It also has certain chapters that had deal with Huey Newton, Mutulu Shakur, Afeni Shakur, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Bobby Seale, and also, I must say, Martin Luther King's assassination anniversary, April 4th, 1968, is coming up. And also, Malcolm X is from Omaha, Nebraska. Ain't that something? And you know what, just to add something, when I'm on Martin Luther King Jr., if you go to any city in this country, if you want to know what the ghetto is, just find where Martin Luther King Jr. Drive is, Martin Luther King Jr. Way, Martin Luther King Jr. Lane, and you will indeed find out where the black people are in that city. That's not done on accident. That's done on purpose. That's to mark where basically the undesirables are in that city. That's what that is for, and that's what they've done that. What America will do is they will assassinate you and then name inanimate objects after you. They've done that throughout history, and they'll continue to do that throughout history. And that's also what the FBI does to the militant black mind. When it finds militant groups or militant people that have risen up, that are rising up against the status quo, going against the grain, what they'll do is they'll set a specific program, and they'll set specific agents, and they'll entrap people that are part of that group in all type of litigation, and turn those people, send them to that group with certain goals in mind to sabotage whatever progress that they have made. So that's basically the gist of this group. But I would like to read some chapters so you can get an idea of what's in this group, what's in this book. Chapter 1, the U.S. intelligence versus Newton seals Black Panthers' aid to black secures lead Harlem. So the founders of the Black Panther Party are Huey Newton, and Bobby Seale. Those are the founders of the Black Panther Party. So this book starts off with basically showing you who the Black Panther Party are, what they were about, the struggles they went through, and how the FBI, through years of just years of oppression, year by year, brick by brick, person by person, dismantled the FBI or the Black Panther Party until it was just full of agents, and until they probably had or they did have ultimate control. But that's just one chapter. Also, Malcolm X, they deal with Malcolm X. They have a chapter in here about his assassination. They have a chapter in here about Fred Hampton, how he was assassinated. They have the chapter in here all about Tupac. They have a chapter in here about how the FBI assisted cities such as New York, Miami, the police there. They assisted them in setting up programs to target rappers, right? So all these rappers that are dying, that are losing their lives, that are being jailed, there's certain programs that the FBI has helped the local police in that certain city or that state. They've helped them set up programs to jail these rappers, to target these rappers, right? And it's a wide array of how they attack these rappers or political figures or anybody of that nature. So, not to make this video too long, Tupac Shakur was born out of the Black Panther Party. His mother was a part of the Black Panther Party. Eventually, from his inception up until his death, the FBI had a close eye on Tupac Shakur. Everything that happened to Tupac, as far as jail, being shot, being assassinated, all those things were heavily orchestrated by the FBI, and it's all in this book. It provides some names, it provides some details, it provides some places, it provides some reasons why, right? But the whole idea of this book is to show people that there is an agency, an investigative agency, that has a goal against a certain people, and also not just black people, but anybody really that's rising up to go against the status quo. Because what they can't have is somebody that's ready to go against everything or the certain idea that this country has pushed. And now that one person can turn into 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. Whoever has the most appeal, whoever has the most power to change minds, to radicalize minds, they're looking to get rid of those people. Definitely black people. They don't have to be black, because there's some Hispanics and white groups in here that have also been infiltrated by the FBI and brung to ruin. And that's the eventual side of it. Now, Tupac Shakur, from him being shot in New York and from him being assassinated in Vegas, he always had agents around him. He always had people around him that had specific goals of getting into his life, getting information, and eventually leading him and helping him to his demise. They've used people, they've used women, they've used, in some cases, his litigations against him. They've used that against him. So to go to a specific event, the time he was shot in, or he shot a police officer in Atlanta, the FBI orchestrated that. They, those two cops, the Whitwells, those two cops worked undercover for the FBI, right? And they were implanted there at that time because they knew Tupac was coming going to be in that area around that specific time. So that guy black guy that was getting beat up, he actually worked for the FBI as well. So what they'll do is they'll create a situation that they know you're going to react to. So they hoped that Tupac was going to react to that situation to where it was going to get him killed. But eventually, it backfired on him. And Tupac ended up shooting those two cops. And the reason why they dropped those charges is because if they went to court, they would have showed the information of how those two cops worked for the FBI. So that's one situation. Also, him eventually going to being set up by that woman for rape. That was all orchestrated by the FBI because they knew that rape case was going bad. So they ended up shooting him in Quiet Studios, and then they ended up sending him to jail anyway, right? When he was in jail, the only people that could get him to get an appeal was Death Row. But Death Row, not a lot of people know, Death Row was a CIA, FBI front with police working as undercover agents throughout the whole organization. So the Death Row got the New York to give him a appeal, and they bonded him out. And within 11 months, that man was dead. He eventually died because he caught an audit on Death Row Records, and if that audit would have came to fruition, the audit was basically inviting the FBI in on what was going on inside Death Row Records. Now, inside Death Row Records, they were doing a lot of drug dealing, they were doing a lot of gun dealing, they were doing a lot of murders, and there was a lot of money laundering going on in Death Row. Now, mind you, Tupac said, hey, I'm doing the audit because I don't know where my money is. So if the FBI would have came in and saw that these guys were doing all this illegal stuff, then a lot of people were going to go to prison. So eventually, they ended up setting Tupac up for murder. That was not a regular drive-by assassination. If that was a regular drive-by, the people who did it would be in jail right now. So, but there was more than that, more than just that audit for why Tupac was going to die. He was going to die anyway because that idea, how radicalized Tupac was against the United States and against just the system above all things. He had to die. He was going to eventually die anyway. But the FBI was following him in the motorcade the night that he was shot. They were like 2 or 3 cars away. So, and they also watched the man get shot and did nothing. So if I am the target of a drive-by and there's the FBI and the ATF like 2 cars away, and they saw the shooting go down, how come nobody was arrested? It's because they were a part of it. It was because they were a part of it, and it's all in this book. It's all in this book, The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders. So there's a lot of more information in this book. I mean, a lot. I just gave you a rundown of Tupac's. Didn't even touch a lot on Tupac. I just touched on some things, the majority of it, or a good amount of what most people will be interested in. But there's other people in here: Jimi Hendrix, Jam Master Jay, right? Lumumba Shakur. Let's see here: Kathleen Cleaver, Sonika Shakur, Monster Cody. So these people are in here. Okay, how the FBI infiltrated their groups and set them up for jail or assassination, and why. It's in this book. This is one of my favorite books, It really opened up my mind to the world around me, because this stuff just doesn't happen in this book. This stuff happens everywhere, and it happens in every city, in every state. There's the FBI and plenty of other agencies are always looking for a radicalized black man, or they're looking for mostly a radicalized individual, right, who has an appeal to the masses. They want that appeal, right, so they can have that, so you can work for them, so you can accomplish their goals. They don't want you to be on your own accomplishing goals of maybe like freeing your people, or anything that goes against what they've implemented in society. So that's just a little bit of what I had to say today. But this is a great book. You can get this on Amazon. The author's name is John Potash. This book's been through a lot. I think I got this when I was in prison. Yeah. So this book's been through a lot. But I suggest that you pick this book up. He also has another book called The CIA Drugs as Weapons Used Against Us. Drugs as Weapons Used Against Us. That's another one of his books as well. But if you look him up as an author, John Potash, you'll be able to see all the books that he has authored. But yeah, that's all we have for y'all today, man. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to be doing a couple more of these book reviews because I like to read a lot. And also, if you have any other topics that you want me to discuss, any questions, man, like, share, and subscribe. Have somebody, share my page, man. Look, it's free. You ain't got to pay nothing. I'm not asking you for nothing. Well, I'm just asking you for one thing: like, share, and subscribe. I really enjoy doing this, and I really would enjoy people if people show me that they enjoy what I do too. So I hope everybody has a blessed day. I'll talk to y'all soon. All right, thanks.